All nations go to war for different reasons. However, the most prominent are conflicts between countries and beliefs. Their desirable outcomes all consist of alliance, wealth, and expansion. War may not always be preventable, but the participation of America in international conflict resolution and enforcing an inclusive model among nations in the United States would. Being inclusive with other countries and not being an isolated country contributes tremendously to war effects. One of the major causes of World War II was the Treaty of Versailles. The treaty was signed on June 28, 1919, right after World War I. Although more than 30 countries sent representatives, the Big Four, England, Italy, France, and the United States, only added their ideas, excluding so many. Woodrow Wilson also failed to persuade other members of the Big Four into adding free trade, open agreements, democracy, self-determination, and the League of Nations would be created for protection of independence of all countries. But the Big Four didn't agree, so harsher terms were made than the ideas on Woodrow Wilson's 14-point plan. Although the treaty was made for Germany, Germany had no say in the final agreement and was forced to either sign it or face the occupation of Germany by Allied troops. The League of Nations was created at the end of World War I on January 10, 1920. The treaty was created to be able to solve conflicts and use peace. Although the United States wanted peace, they wanted to be isolated and no longer include themselves in war. Without the United States and the League of Nations, the League had no power to enforce their rules.
After the new treaty being considered too harsh by German people, their economy started to decline and the country entered a state of panic. Adolf Hitler was voted into office because of his promise to rip up the Treaty of Versailles. December 7, 1941, a day which will live in infamy, was the day that the U.S. knew they wouldn't be able to be an isolated country any longer. At 7:55 on Sunday morning of December 7th, the first wave of bombs hit Pearl Harbor. After the second wave of attacks, Japan soon withdrew. This attack left 2,300 Americans dead and completely destroyed the American battleship USS.
The bombing of Pearl Harbor by the Japanese Empire caused a chain reaction in which the United States declared war upon the Japanese. Nazi Germany declared war against the United States, and then the U.S. declared war upon Germany. The Soviet Union was also a huge part of World War II. After being expelled from the League of Nations for being aggressive against Finland, the Soviets signed a non-aggression pact with Germany. The pact was soon terminated on June 22nd of 1941 when Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa and invaded the Soviet Union. This is when the Soviet Union joined the Allies in their fight to stop Germany.
We have learned through the past the United States should be involved in international issues in order to maintain peace around the world. The United States Foreign Assistance Act was created to do just this. It is aid given by the United States to other countries to support global peace, security, and development efforts, and provide humanitarian relief during times of crisis. This has helped out many countries that are suffering during civil war. Countries that get the foreign aid are Afghanistan, Israel, Iraq, Egypt, Siberia, and Jordan, all in which have importance to America because of their rich natural resources.
During the Afghanistan war, the Taliban government hit Osama bin Laden, an al-Qaeda terrorist group, which was responsible for the 9/11 attacks. After Afghanistan refused to turn over the leader, the US and the Soviet Union joined together and invaded. The Taliban government was found and many terrorist camps were destroyed. After this, the U.S. and NATO troops stayed there to support the new fragile government.
During the Iraq War, the United States and Great Britain invaded and took over the government. For the most harsh dictatorship of Saddam Hussein, the U.S. troops stayed in Iraq to help aid the defeat of Hassan and help rebuild the country.
We have learned through the past the United States should be involved in international issues in order to maintain peace around the world.